Hello everyone, this is Christian Lexicon Interactive, and in this video we are going to begin creating the ability for us to do some offset paging. So what we'll have by the time that we're done here is if the user asks for a particular page, we'll be able to return the items from that page. If the user asks for page 0 or something less than 1, we'll return the first page. And if the user asks for a page that's greater than the number of pages in our data set, we will return the last page. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started here. So just to give you a brief overview of where we're starting, basically what I have is a model class, a mock class here, an article. I have a DB context that's going to give me the articles. I have a repository that I'm going to use to then get the articles from the context, right? And I have a repository. I create the instance of the context. I'm using what we've done in a previous video or two to create this mock context builder. You can check out those videos if you're interested, but it's basically just mocking up a DB set or the context. And then I'm creating the repository using the context. I have then a list of the articles, and then I'm using the toListAsync method on our repository.articles to populate the articles property. In the page that's related to this, all I'm doing is looping over the articles and printing out their title. So what we're looking at right now is just this. Right, so our test data here. So that's where we're starting from. And so let's go back to the code behind in our page, and we'll have to add a few things here to get it so that we can do some paging, right? So right now we're just returning all, in this case 20 of our articles, right? So we want to be able to split those up into different pages, page 1, page 2, so on and so forth. So we're going to need to know what page we're on, and to do that we're going to need the user to tell us, basically, and they're going to do that through the URL. And I'm using this PG instead of PAGE for page because page has already been used by the model, by the page model. So we need to allow this to be bound in get requests. So we'll have a bind property, and inside there we'll say supports get equals true. And if we import, so we now have the ability for the page to come up from the user. And I'm skip a little bit of what I did in the article. Did a whole lot of other stuff first, but let's go ahead and save that. And the way that we're going to get that from the URL is to return to the Razor page, and we're going to modify it. And what we're going to do here is put in our little double quotes, page dash, and then curly brackets PG, which is an int. So we could just have without this page dash, and then we'll just have an int. So in this case we'd have the page is called offset dash paging, so we'd have offset dash paging slash and then a number. I don't like that because there's no context to the number, so I like to put page dash, and so let's save that. We are going to run into a problem though from this. So if we come over here, we refresh our page, we look at the network tab, the requests we're getting, so we're getting a response of 404 now, and problem being is it's expecting slash page dash, right? We could probably get away with saying it's a optional parameter if we just had the int, but I don't like it, so we're not going to do that. We're going to fix this another way. So we're done with the actual Razor page, so we can close that. But to fix this problem, what I've done is created a controller. So this controller has a base route of offset dash paging, right, just like the page that we're on. And inside of here, we're going to create a index method. So I'm going to create a public action result index, And from that, we're going to say return, and then we're going to redirect to page. And since we're outside the page, we have to put a / to start with. So offset dash paging. And this will just loop around if we didn't add the route parameters. In this case, what we want is page equals 1, right? And let's go ahead and save that. Server restart, there it goes. Let's come back to our page, and now we get redirected from offset dash paging to offset dash paging / page dash 1. And we have all of our titles again. So we're done with the controller. I'm going to go ahead and close that, and we're back to our code behind. So again, what we want to do is to deal with some paging here. Let's deal with just articles parts of this first. Okay, so we'll just say const int take equals 2. So take is what we're going to say. This is how many of the things that we want. So to set articles, what we're going to do, actually I guess I need all that except for this. So now we're in here. We're going to say skip. See if it'll let me import at the moment. Yep. So skip, what we're going to skip page -1 times take. Right? So we're skipping so if page is equal to 1, would have 1 minus 1, which is 0, times 0 is, or time anything is 0. So we'll skip nothing, and we want to then take, right? And then we'll do the toList async now. All right, so if we're on, say, page 2, it'd be 2 minus 1. That'll give us a 1 times the take. So we'll skip the first take. What would be what was on the first page, and then we'll take the next bit. All right. So that'll work. So we save that. Let's go back to our browser, refresh, and now we have just 2 on page 1. So one thing we're going to see here, so if I go to page 0, I still get the first 2. And I think I even tested it from minus. I think negative numbers, well, clearly negative numbers work, and because we're getting page 0, so that would be -1 times take, so -2 for skip. So skip handles dealing with negative numbers. It just returns, skips nothing. The problem is that if you can see the URL, which I'm sure you cannot, but the URL right now says page -0, and I don't, that's not where we are. We're on page 1. So what we're going to do is to deal with that problem. So we'll say if pg less or equal to 0, what we'll do is to return, and actually before we return something, we're going to need to change this to in task of I action result. Now we're going to return a redirect to page permanent. What page? This one, offset dash paging. Again, our friend new pg equals 1. Perfect. Let's just come down here and do return page. So get rid of our error. So let's save that. Server restarts. Looks good. Let's go. It's now still on page 0. If I do that, I've been redirected to page 1. Actually, I can see it here, right? Page 1 or page 0. Permanent redirect to a 301 to page 1. All right, so that part's working. Next up, what we're going to do, so in this case, since we're doing a take of 2, we have 20, that gives us 10 pages. If the user types in, say, page 100, we get, page 100, which has 0 elements in it. So what I want to do is to, if somebody asks for a page that's greater than the pages that we have, I want to redirect to the last page. So we're going to have to know a few things. What we'll do is say total is equal to await repository dot articles dot count async. So that'll give us the total number. Now we want to know what's the last page. So last page is equal to, we'll cast it to int. we'll get math.ceiling of the total divided by, and I'll just cast it double, so I'll deal with the whole division of two integers. Take, so that'll give us the last page. So now what we'll say is that if articles dot count is equal to 0, right? So we have no articles. If there's some articles, we don't have to worry about it. So if we have none, we'll say and page not equal to 1. I don't want to go into some looping around of problems. So page not equal to 1 and page is greater than last page. So it's possible that on page number 1 we have 0 entries so far. So that would give us count equals 0. If I didn't have this page 1 requirement here, last page would be 0, right? Because there'd be a total of 0. And so page 1 would be greater than 0. So we'd be on this whole loop. So we need this page not equal to 1. So then we'll return a redirect to page, and our familiar friend should have this like copied and pasted someplace. Page equals last page. All right, so let's save that. Wait for the server. Back to the browser. I'm currently on page -100. So I refresh. I'm back to page 10. And so everything seems to be working. Let's go to page 7. Seems to be working the way it's supposed to be working. So next up, this nonsense that we're having to do all this is all basically, besides what entities we're looking for, is all related to the paging, right? So we don't want to redo this every time we want to page some content. So we'll do it step by step. I've already created this pager. I call it offset pager, and I said we'll do it step by step. First, so let's go back. Let's go to it actually, and set a few things. So we need some properties. Interest of time, we are going to copy and paste. I thought I changed. Ooh, helps if you're in the class. So I changed a few things. We can make this just get. Let's import system, and in our class we'll have a constructor. So we'll have the same last page, take, and total count. Take, I'm going to default to 24. Just to briefly mention why I picked 24. I think 24 is sufficient number usually of items to start with, and it's divisible by a lot of numbers, like 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12. The reason I care about that is that I'm thinking of columns on different form factors, so I have a lot of choices depending on how large the screen is. And so now we need a method to, let's say, get those entities, right? A page of them anyway. So let's do a public async task, and this is a list of T. Called it get page entities async. Tell me what a T is. Give me a page and give me an I queryable of type T. We'll just call it queryable. Let's do a whole bunch of imports. So let's get link. What else do we need? We need threading. We need generic collections, and we are good to go. So if we look back on what we were doing, let's say we're going to take care of all of this stuff right here. Let's come back to our page. I actually kind of went out of order because we're trying to return this list. So let's take these, put them up here, and so total is going to become, instead of repository.articles, just becomes queryable, right? Our last page is going to take care of itself. Let's get rid of our take. Once again, this is queryable, so we're going to skip whatever page they give us, and we know take. and we know take, and we can actually just return this, and we are good. So right, we were able to save that. Let's go back to here, code behind, and well, I guess we need to set up stuff, right? Total count. Oh, I made a mistake, and actually I should have left that as a different spot. So private set, and this should then be total count equals this. Now we're good. All right, so back to the code behind here. We're going to need a pager. So let's put it right here. And it's probably an offset pager. We'll call it pager. Just use get for it. Come up here. We'll say pager is equal to new offset pager. Let's go ahead and do take equals to 2 again. So we have small take, several pages. And now we can come down here and say articles equals await pager dot page async. We need to tell it what do we need to tell it? The page and the queryable. So repository dot articles, and we're getting there, right? So this is now pager dot last page and pager dot last page. Save it. Cross my fingers. Take a look. I don't see any errors. Restarted. Refresh. Page 7 still works. Page 70 returns to page 10. Page 0 to 1. 1 works. Great. All right. So let's keep going. So of course these redirects are happening basically because of paging, right? So we can use our pager to help us with that. So let's return to the offset pager. First thing that we're going to do, though, is create us a couple fields. So private, read-only, page model, private, read-only, string, which is the page name. Let's import what we need for the page model. So I will expect to receive a page model and string page name when we create it. So let's do model equals model, page name equals page name. Save that. We'll go back up here, fix this. So we'll give it this, and it's offset dash paging. Good to go there. So what we want to do is to create some redirect methods. So the first one that we're going to create, we'll do a public. We're going to use a newer tuple and redirect, and redirect to page results. This is redirect to first page. Give me the page, and I'll say return if page less or equal to 0, that we want to return yes, we want to redirect. And where do we redirect to? To page, and redirect to page. Actually, we want the permanent version of this. Which one? Page name. Give us our round values of PG is equal to 1. And last up, if that's not true, we'll just do false and null. Perfect. Not so perfect. What's the problem? Import statement. All right. And so that takes care of if page is less than or equal to 0. Next up, public will redirect redirect to page results, and we'll call that results. This is then redirect to last page T. So give me the page and an I list of T entities. No back in. Perfect. And now we can do the same thing that we did before. What we did before, which is all of this. I'm just going to grab, actually let's grab all of this. Okay, so now we'll say return, and we need all of this stuff. So that's now supposed to be entities. So entities.count equals 0, page equals 1, or page greater than last page. Let's go ahead and get rid of that nonsense. Why is that? So if that's true, then we'll return true, and we need model dot redirect to page. And of course we need our new page is equal to last page, and again false and null. So hopefully I've done that right. So we return to our code behind. We should now be able to get rid of this. And that becomes var and redirect first result is equal to pager dot redirect to first page. So if redirect first, trying to keep the format the same, we'll return redirect to first result. Perfect. Down here, same deal, var redirect last result. That's equal to pager dot redirect last page, of which we have to send the page and the articles. If redirect last, return redirect last result. Save. Check the server restarting. Back to the page. Page 1 works. Page 0 redirects to page 1. Page 100 redirects to page 10. Still going strong. We're getting there, right? But still, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on that's related to paging that we can condense. Return back to our pager class. And just because I couldn't come up with a better name, we're going to call async. We need this task of, and the of, it's going to return a bool, which is a redirect to page results, which is the result, and list of T entities, and I called it create async of T. Guess what we want. So what we want is int the page in the I queryable of T queryable. Perfect. So we're basically needing to mirror this stuff. Grab all of this stuff. So redirect first, redirect first. Perfect, except now we need to say yes, redirect. There's the result. I give you nothing. All right, so next we say var entities equals get page async, so we'll have the page here and the queryable here. So now we have our entities, and we can say redirect last is right, except we need to have the page and the entities. Perfect. No if statement this time. So what we'll do is just redirect last, the result, and the entities. Save that. If we go back to the page now, we should be able to say var, so redirect result, entities equals await pager dot create async. So we got page and repository dot articles. So now we just have one if redirect return redirect result. Otherwise, we still have to set the articles equal to the entities and save. And we had check. Done something wrong. Offset pager's got an error in it. Oh, left a dot. Let's try that again. Take 2 fails because there is still an error. Where is my little red squigglies? PG does not, oh, there it is. There it is. So page, again, resave it. Now we've managed to start up again. Back to the browser. Page 10 works. Page 100 redirects to page 10. Page 7, not 70. Page 7 works. Page 0 redirects to page 1, and page 1 works. So we're good to go there. So I think we're going to call it quits for this video before everything gets very, very long. And so what we basically have done is set up fundamentals for offset paging. It actually works. What we now need to create is basically the UI so that the user can use it, which is basically the pages, the little numbers you could click on, or first page, last page, next, previous, that kind of thing. We'll take care of that in the next video. And yeah, if you have any, or thank you for watching the video. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, otherwise I will talk to you in the, or leave them in the comment section below. Otherwise, I will talk to you in the next video. Thank you for taking the time to watch our video. I know that your time is valuable. If you liked the video, please subscribe to our channel and click the thumbs up button, as well as share the video with your friends. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please leave them in the comments section below. And once again, thank you, and I will talk to you in the next video.